Big news this week that, at least for the next 2 seasons, Burns and Greer won't be playing, the longtime rivals. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, that was shocking to me. Because that's always been the biggest rivalry we ever had. And I think we got Greenwood this year coming up. So, I mean, we're not playing Spartanburg. It's getting a little weird. Like that.
Definitely. I mean, it would. If you were still there, if you were there for another year or two, would you miss playing those schools?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you get Brad. I mean, crosstown rivals, Spartanburg, Dorman and Greer. I mean, those are 2 main teams in Gaffney. So I mean, yeah, I would want to play.
Well, big weekend coming up. You got the NFL playoffs. Just kind of talk about those 4 games. The NFC. How do you feel about Arizona and New Orleans?
No, I think New Orleans is going to pull it out. I mean, because they got Drew Brees and he's focused. He got his team ready. And the other game with is Dallas and Vikings.
Yes.
That's going to be a good game. I really don't even know about that one. But I think Sidney Rice from South Carolina, he's going to put on the show. But, they got Felix Jones in the backfield. So it's going to be a close game. I don't know about that.
Well, I'm a Cowboy fan, so I know how it's going to go. And I like Arizona's. They got some of the best young receivers in the game. I mean, do you have a feeling about those games at all?
I hope the New Orleans defense rested after they saw what Arizona was able to do last week. At the same time, Arizona didn't play much defense either. That one to me is the toss-up. I think Dallas may have the edge on the Vikings, as bad as I hate to say it, not being a Cowboys fan.
I forgot about Brett Favre now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the legend.
Yeah, if it comes down to a late, he might have something to say. I think that you mentioned Felix Jones. I think Marion Barber might better hunt a job the way Felix Jones is playing. Because they look really good.
AFC wise, you have the Colts and and Baltimore. Baltimore, no one saw that whipping that they put on New England coming. Do you think they have a chance against the Colts?
That was a good game they played, but the Colts had Peyton Manning. And, I mean, he's a genius on the field. He's a coach on the field. And, he can pick up in blitzes. I mean, he know where to throw it to. I think the Colts will win the Super Bowl.
What about the Jets? The Jets game against the Chargers. Now you're a Ladanian fan.
I just don't think the Jets can throw the ball, because they got a good quarterback, but I don't think they'll be able to keep up with the Chargers because they got Phillip Rivers and they got 2 good backs and they got a great defense. So I think the Chargers can pull it out.
I think it's going to be interesting. The Jets, they're kind of nothing to lose right now. They're really not supposed to be this far, so let's just go out, have fun, and play. I think with Baltimore, they got to feel good about themselves. I mean, they got to feel like they can stop anyone after doing that with New England. So I think both games could be good. How do you feel?
That Baltimore game is the one I'm really looking forward to seeing because it's probably, I don't think there's any question, the best quarterback of this generation against probably the 2 best defenders of this generation in Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. I really think that's going to be a war. I think that's going to be a fantastic game. And then, the Jets, I don't agree with Coach Ryan that they are the favorite to win the tournament. I don't really think that's the case. But if they believe it, then who knows? You've seen stranger things happen. Traditionally, this is the best week of pro football of the year, the division semis. Mm-hmm. These 4 games are generally the best 4 games you'll see all year. I wish it was going to be cold again this weekend so I wouldn't feel guilty about staying inside and watching.
We talked about Ladanian a few minutes ago. Seems like this season, especially the last couple of weeks, the big names as far as running backs have been Ray Rice, who's just really come along, and Chris Johnson with the Titans. If you are to make it to the NFL, is there the concern at all that maybe after like 4 or 5 years, your window starts to go away as far as being what you can really do?
Oh yeah, I know that. I think the average for a running back is, 4 years. And I'm gonna run as hard as I can those 4 years. If I make it to that level. But Nathaniel, he's overexcelled at And I think Chris Johnson also excelled at that too. So I mean, you never know.
Was there anything this year there's been a big fuss about concussions? When you ran the ball, was there anything you ever tried to do to protect yourself from maybe taking a shot to the head or that would cause a concussion?
Yeah, I did think about that sometimes, but I mean, I just ran hard, I mean, not let them get a good lick on you. That's all you gotta do, really. Keep your pads low, run low. Yeah, I did kind of think about that, but I mean, fortunately, it didn't happen.
How much of that is instinct? Because when you run, you deliver as many blows as you take. But it always seemed like when I was watching you and you take one, they'd hit the side of a pad or a knee or maybe an ankle or something. Nothing solid, nowhere where you could get hurt. How much of that's instinct? How much were you taught?
I was taught a lot. I mean, Coach Scott, the running back coach at my school. I mean, it's all about pad leverage. You gotta get lower than him. You can't let him get a good lick on you. I mean, and the way to do that, you set him up. You set your blocks up. And I mean, if it's a man coming straight at you, you gotta make a move. Just make a miss. Be elusive.
Okay. Well, that's it for this week. We'd like to thank our guest, Marcus Lattimore, and please start joining us every Thursday for In the Cheap Seats.